What's up, peoples? My peoples, is Mr. EJ, Growth and Wisdom. So today, before I started my run, I began to think, man, it's too hot to go out there and run. Way too hot. Maybe I'll wait till later. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. Then I thought to myself, when it's cold, I say it's too cold to run outside. When it's hot, I say it's too hot to run outside. So then I began thinking, where else do I do this? Man, I do it in every single aspect of my life. Always thinking about when the right time, when the right moment, when the right opportunity comes. Well, I've learned that the right time, the right moment, the right opportunity doesn't come unless you choose it, okay? If I keep waiting for the right moment, for the right time, for the right opportunity, when the fuck am I gonna do what I'm supposed to do? What I wanna do? Probably never, ever. And that was the point where I said, fuck it, I'm going out there. It's 95, 90, 100, I don't know. It's hot, it's humid, I'm sweating, I'm aching. But I'm still going hard, going tough. Because without pain, there's no gain. And there ain't no pleasure. So next time that you guys are out there, getting ready to go for your run, getting ready to do your workout, getting ready to eat that healthy meal, start your diet, and you start thinking, it's too hot, it's too cold, the weekend's coming, I have a birthday coming up. Think about this. Think about having self-integrity, self-love. Think about what kind of person you are if you can't even keep your word to yourself. My feeling is, if I can't keep my word to myself, I probably can't keep my word to anyone. So it's gotta start with me. Change, baby. Mr. EJ out.
We can choose our own new path, not the one that we were settling with. Listen, folks, we only get one life, and we can make it epic. We can make it grand epic. And we're going down a new path, and we want you to join us.
All right, man, we're live here. Ernesto, welcome to Path Epic Show.
What's up, Nick?
How you doing, man?
Man, I'm feeling amazing, man. It's Sunday morning. It's not sunny today right now, but it's about to be hot in the Bay Area today.
Great. There's nothing better than a summer in the Bay Area. I love the weather. It's not too humid out like in Texas.
No.
You've been out in Texas. I'm sure you've experienced it. Maybe I think you went out to Dallas a few times.
Yeah.
So actually, the reason why I was excited to invite you to the show is I saw your 75-day challenge and the results you got within that 2.5 month period. You showed like what you look like physically, and I know it impacted you mentally as well. So really wanted to talk about that and why you did it, what kind of results you got physically and mentally, and why you think other people should probably consider it.
Man, honestly, it started out because I've been going through a tougher time this year than I have in previous years, specifically with my mind. I don't want to say I've been depressed because I don't think I'd be feeling good if I was depressed. But then again, maybe there are levels of depression. I'm not a professional, but there's a time where, I was eating a lot, and not just like, hey, let's go have a burrito, let's go have tacos. Like, I'm talking about like burrito for every meal, pizza, burgers. And, I realized that I was doing it because I felt bad. And food always makes me feel, I've never been a heavy person. but I eat a lot. I mean, I rely on food often. And I was getting into this pattern, which I think most of us, all of us, or at least a lot of people who suffer through any type of mindset issues. I'm not even going to say mental issues for me, mindset issues where, you feel bad, you look for something to go make you feel good. Sometimes it's shopping. Sometimes maybe it's women, maybe it's drinking, maybe it's
Yep.
eating, right? This time I chose eating, man, and I would go and I would scarf down a giant, wet burrito with French fries inside, and those are good, by the way.
Yeah.
And then I would feel good as I'm eating it, and then I would finish my meal, and I realized that I still felt like shit. Not only did I still feel like shit, but now I feel twice worse because now I had this giant burrito inside me, and I felt not only did I feel bad for whatever was troubling me, but now I feel bad for eating this burrito. So
Wow.
then what would happen is then I would start eating sweets
Mm-hmm.
because sweets made me feel good, and then I would, after I ate my sweets, let's say for example a big bucket of Ben and Jerry's. I feel good. I scarf it down, but then I finish eating, and I'd feel three times worse because I just ate a burrito, I just ate a big tub of ice cream. So and then you stop and you feel okay, and then you start feeling shitty again, and then what do you do? What I did, I ate it again. So I was getting into this pattern of just
Wow.
recurring eating and feeling shitty, eating and feeling shitty, eating and feeling shitty. I'm a big podcaster. One of the persons who I'm listening to a lot lately is the MFCEO project, which is Andy Frisella's shows. And, he put out this challenge, the 75-day program, calls it 75 Hard. And, honestly, I mean, every year I try to do something to challenge myself.
Mm-hmm.
And this podcast just came at the right time.
Before you
And
jump into that, because I'm excited, I listened to the podcast. You shared it to me, and it's really, really cool stuff. Before you jump into the details, what do you think happened? Like, how did you get into this funk? I mean, it happens to anybody. I never thought of you as a person who overeats or being overweight. You've always been active, dancing. How do you think that happened? Like, you slipped into that pattern of, I would say, chasing like short-term relief, maybe that sugar, like feeling better. Do you have any insight on how you think you got into that pattern?
I think it's control. You know, we feel like we don't have control over a lot of things, right? We don't. If you're an employee, you don't have control over your time most of the time. Unless you're kind of an outside sales or something like that. But we don't always feel like we control everything. And I think food is one thing I can't control. I can control what I eat, when I eat, how I eat it, who I eat it with, and how much of it I eat. And I think eating just made me feel in control. It made me feel like I'm doing something to live my life. I'm just living my life. I'm being happy. I'm eating,
You're doing what you want
eh,
to do when you want
doing
to
what
do
I
it.
want to do. Exactly. But one, now that I think about it, it was really a cover up for what was really happening inside, which is, not feeling good, feeling shitty, feeling like I'm not a man, or I'm not the man I should be, feeling like I'm not enough, feeling like it doesn't matter if I'm overweight, if I'm not healthy, you know, um, all that stuff, all of those negative feelings that go through somebody's head when they are in a state of depression or a funk or sad, you know. One of the
Yeah.
things that actually helps me, before we get into it now, is realize or get out of that now is I ask myself a few questions. If I'm feeling quote unquote depressed, I ask myself, well, what am I really feeling?
Mm-hmm.
And when you're honest about yourself, and you're really, really, truly honest, or when I'm really truly honest, well, maybe I'm not feeling depressed. Maybe I'm just feeling a little bit bummed. Maybe I'm
Yeah.
just feeling a little bit down.
It's a little
And
funked.
bummed and down, it's totally a different feeling than depressed. So I would ask myself, what am I really feeling? And then I would ask myself, well, why am I feeling this way? Well, a lot of the things that I felt in regards to my funk had to do with financial, had to do maybe with the fact that, you know, a lot of my friends are getting married, and then, oh man, I'm still single. And then everybody, you know, there's all this talk from your family and your friends and things like that. And so those are the things that I'm really feeling, but those are things that I can work on and do something on, which leads to the third question. What can I do about this, or what can I learn from this?
Perfect. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's what I was really excited to hear, because I've been in funks myself. I don't know anyone who hasn't. And just taking the time to really think, what is going on in my life? Why am I in this situation? There's usually something else going on. It sounds like you have a few things you want to work on. I'm in the same boat. I'm trying to work on things too. Finances is one of them. Relationships is another. I think we have similar things we're trying to work on in our lives. And I think people just deal with it in different ways. And if you don't have a creative, proactive way, like you have a plan, then you're just going to fall into some pattern. And you chose like food as an option. So yeah, I'm excited for you to tell me, tell the audience, you know, about this program that you enrolled yourself in, because it sounds like you realized something needed to change and you wanted to make a pretty big one and dramatic. And so, yeah, I'm pumped to hear more about that, how you found out about it, and then what gave you the strength to do this challenge. Because folks, when you hear about this thing, it's pretty challenging. I listened to what it entails, and it's honestly not that hard, each individual thing, but to do all those things for 75 days is incredibly challenging. So I'm excited for you to share with the folks about that journey that you went through and the kind of results you got as well.
Yeah, no, it's definitely one of the most exciting. Excuse me. Well, yeah, it is exciting. It's exciting. It's exhausting, and it is definitely challenging. Um, you know, it's I almost, you know, well, now that I'm thinking about it, and then I was actually listening to David Goggins speak, and he talked about you know, the process that you go through to become a SEAL. Well,
Yeah.
this is kind of like becoming a SEAL for the average person, let's say. Although I don't, you know, I think I'm average, but I also think I'm a little bit above average. Not that I'm better than anybody else, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's like a SEAL training for everyday people.
Yeah. I agree.
You
Exactly.
know, and the reason I say it is because there's actually a couple of different phases. I know today we're just going to talk about the 75 hard phase, but right now I'm moving into the second phase, which we, you know, I can mention later. But and that's why now I'm thinking of it. You know, this is really training for your mind, which leads into another point that I've always thought. You know, for example, I'm a very positive. If you know me, you know that I'm positive. You know, like for example, I'm telling you that I've been down, I've been depressed, and it
Yeah.
sounds weird for me to say that because I'm a
Yeah.
positive ass person.
Yeah.
I'm always positive, you know.
That's not
Um,
something that I think of. I don't think of you as that way. You're always like, you know, got something going on. You're always hungry. You're always doing something. Yeah. So it is, but everyone goes through, you know, times in their life, and it's like how you deal with it. So it sounds like you went through a little funk. I've been there. I actually had a rough time with finances for a little while, and it really stressed me out. And we all deal with it different ways, but I'm really excited that you were willing to take on this challenge and actually fulfill it, because most people won't, and that's the difference. I think that's why I'm excited to have you on here. How did you
yeah.
get the grit? How did you commit to this? And like, what about it that just said, I'm going to do this?
Um, first, you know, first let me finish the point I was trying to make in terms of being positive.
Sure.
The reason I'm so positive is because I've worked on becoming positive for about 14, 15 years now. You know, my first personal development book, Think and Grow, Rich Dad Poor Dad, I read it back in 2004. So ever since then, I've been becoming a positive person, right? Which goes
Yeah.
back into training. We have to train to be who we want to be or do what we want to do. So, you know, if you want to become a positive person, it's something you have to work on. You have to train. You have to focus on. And most people say, "Well, I tried it, man. It's hard being positive." Well, you know, how long did you try it? Did you stick with it? You know, most business owners, they most successful business owners, they stick with their business even when it seems like it's failing or not working, or when it's hard, especially. So that's what I want to get into is training. So this whole thing is a mental mindset training. You know, I think, well, a lot of things help me. A lot of things help me. One of the two biggest things that helped me, I think, is while I did this process. Well, first of all, 75 hard. We can start with 75 hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
75 hard is doing 5 things every single day for 75 days. And if you miss one thing for one day, you have to start all over on day one. So you can't say, oh, well, I missed it. I'll make up for it tomorrow. I didn't do my workout today, so I'll do double tomorrow. No, you start all over. Okay. The
It's
first thing
tough.
is drink a gallon of water. Very
Mm-hmm.
tough. You know, second thing is have a well balanced diet and no cheat meals. No cheat meals. So for me, my cheat meals that I said were no sweets, no tortilla, no bread,
Wow.
and no processed starches. Now, processed starches is a little bit hard because a lot of food have processed starch, but
Yeah.
I pretty much canceled any pastas, almost anything that had processed starch in it. Um, you must work out at least 2 workouts a day for 45 minutes. One of them must be outdoors. Number 4 is you have to read 10 pages of a book. And number 5, you have to take a progress pic. Now, for me, I changed up number 5. I still did my progress pic, but for my number 5, I did 15 minutes of meditation a day.
Wow.
So whether it was 5 in the morning, 5 in the middle of the day, 5 at night, or if I could do 15 all at once, but 15 minutes, and I didn't call it meditation. I'm more into I did the Tony Robbins priming, which I can, if anybody wants to learn about that, we can, Nick can send out a link or something for Tony's priming video.
Mm-hmm.
I do priming, or I also do 5 minutes of gratitude, in the morning, and 5 minutes of gratitude in the afternoon, where I just sit down and I just turn off my cell phone and I just sit down and think about all the things that I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
So whichever way. So those are the 5 things that you must do every single day. Now, the thing that really helped me was number 4, which was reading 10 pages a day. That for some reason, I didn't even plan it. Just things fell into place. For some reason, the book that I began reading when I began 75 Hard was the book Grit by Angela Duckworth, which I recommend a ton. You can just simply, if you're into TED Talks, you can just
Mm-hmm.
Google Grit TED Talk, and it should come
Okay.
up. That book, an amazing book, and it's all about what it takes to succeed. Everybody
Yeah.
thinks that you have to be special, that you have to be born with a talent in order to achieve, special things. But this book lays out the foundation or the reasons why we do things the way we do. And in grit, most of us grit. In other words, not giving up, always going forward, continuing, looking for the way. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I could talk about the book, man, but that's a whole nother podcast in itself.
Sure.
So just, so if you're into books or if you're into TED Talks, listen to the TED Talk, get an idea about what the book is about, and definitely pick up the book, because that book has helped me through with everything, especially with not giving up, especially with going forward. And the second book that I read that amazing just helped me out. Again, I don't even know why I picked it up. The Marshmallow Test.
Hmm.
Have you heard the Marshmallow Test?
I have not.
So it's a test where they take kindergartners, put them
Yeah.
in a room, and they put one marshmallow in front of them, and they say, "Okay, I'm gonna come back in 15 minutes. If you wait for 15 minutes, and you can get 2 marshmallows. But
Oh, okay.
if you can't hold
Yeah.
on, just ring the bell. I'll come back in, and you can have the marshmallow." They showed later in life that the children who were able to wait and hold on and not give in to their impulse had a better life, whether it was health, weight, finances, just everything. And the children who were not able to wait, they would suffer from a lot of different issues, and then it gives you, again, it talks about how many people think that, oh, well, those people are just talented. No, they're not. They're just like you and I.
They're
And then
delaying
the book gives you
gratification
ways, yes,
for more
ways
results
and
later.
methods, yes, ways and methods that you can, you know, uh, help yourself, wait and not give in to that impulse and delay that gratification. So those two books completely just, man, I cannot say how much they helped me. Those two books led me to one thing that I've been living by the last 2.5 months, and that's self-integrity. You know, I'm all about self-love. I'm all about
Mhm.
loving myself, but I just change it up. Now I'm all about self-integrity. What is self-integrity? Well, for example, if I ask you, Nick,
Yeah.
if the person you love the most, or actually, would you do anything and be there for the persons that you love the most? Would you be there if they said, Nick, I want you to do this, I need you? You would do it, right?
If it's the person you love the most, of course.
What if let's say a doctor said, you know what, Nick, your brother, I don't know if you have brothers or not, your brother has
I've
three
got
months to die.
sisters.
Okay, your sister is
Yeah.
gonna pass unless you lose 100 pounds in 6 months or in a year. Do you think you would do it?
Of course I would.
Of course.
Yeah.
But if your life is on the line and you had to lose pounds for yourself, and I'm not saying you, I'm just speaking generally,
Yeah.
why don't we do it?
That's a good question. Why don't we?
Right? Because we would do anything for anyone that we love, for anyone.
Mm-hmm.
But why don't we have the integrity, the self-integrity to do everything for us that keeps us healthy, that keeps us going, that motivates us, right? That makes
Yeah.
us feel like we love ourselves. We do anything to show anyone that we love them. But why can't we do everything and anything to show ourselves that we love ourselves?
I think yeah, that's a great question. I don't know if I have the answer at this point. The only thing I can think of is I think maybe we think we're being selfish if we focus on ourselves and take care of ourselves. Like we feel like we need to be helping others all the time, even though if we don't help ourselves, we're less capable to help others. I think it
Right.
could be a problem.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely right. The thing that everybody usually mentions, oh, well, I love helping others and I'm about others and, I'm for others, but I always go back to the airplane analogy, right? When they're making the announcements before you take off on the airplane, and they say, in case the cabin loses pressure, there's going to be oxygen mask that drops down. Put it
Yeah.
on everybody else before you put it on yourself,
Right.
right? No, that's not what they say.
Oh,
They
that's not.
say put it on yourself
Oh, okay. Yeah, of course.
before you help others, even if you have a child next to you,
Oh,
right?
would you say take care of yourself so you can take care of others?
Of
Like
others. Yes.
people get it kind of they just go, oh, I got to take care of others, but it's like no, step one, take care of yourself so you're capable of taking care of others.
Yes. I mean, for example, right, I'm not a parent, but I have a niece who lives with me who I help raise. So if you're a parent, I'm sure you get home and you're tired and you don't
Yeah.
want to deal with your kid jumping up and down. You don't want to go outside and play with them. You don't want to do any of that stuff. But we have to, right?
Yep.
So for a long time, man, I would come home and I would be annoyed and I would, man, I would hope that my niece didn't want to play, that she didn't want, and it was just draining. It was draining before I came in the house. It was draining when I was in the house, right? But now that I'm taking care of myself, I come home, I can't wait to see her. I'm full of energy. I'm still going. I'm still alive. I'm still energetic. I'm still pumped up. I can't wait to do whatever it is she wants to do. And guess what? Now it's leading to me being not only a happier person, but I'm a better uncle, and my niece thinks that I'm the coolest uncle,
Yeah.
right? So, it's again, I'm not a parent, so probably it might be different if I was the parent, although I kind of am the parent because she's here with me.
Yep.
But had I not made that shift a couple of months ago, I don't think we would be having as much fun, her and I, right now. And I don't think I would be feeling as good about who I am. And that's kind of like you know, the bottom line is who we become, right? Forget the physical transformations. It's who are we going to become when we take up whatever challenge, whether it's a 75 hard, a 15-day diet, a 30-day workout program, whatever it is.
I think
So
the integrity part is just getting used to like committing to something and just doing it. Like it's probably it's a muscle, right? The more you do that, the more you're probably going to do that. And
yeah,
yeah, I mean, it's going to be easier if you just like, nope, no excuses. This is what I'm doing, no matter what.
it is.
Because
I
like
mean,
you said,
honestly,
it's a mentality, right?
yeah, honestly, it wasn't hard to commit to this thing. What was hard was
One day.
doing it. What was hard is doing,
Oh, doing
there's
it was hard, not committing to it.
not committing to it, and that's what they say. The hardest part about a change is doing the things that you say you're going to change, or not doing the things that you say you're going to change.
So
You
all
know,
the information's there. Committing to it is easy, but then doing the work and actually following through, the action part.
yeah. I mean, how many times have people said, "Hey, I'm going to start a diet on Monday," and then Monday comes, and then they mess up, and they, well, you know what? I'll start next Monday, and then that whole week they binge and binge and binge and binge, and then next Monday comes, and then they mess up. And you know what? I'll start next Monday. And then that week they've been, next thing you know, a month goes by and they've been binging on food and the diet hasn't started. Now, let me tell you, I failed for 2 weeks on my 75 hard.
That's cool. I
I,
mean, you didn't give up though.
no, because I was determined to do it. I failed for 2 weeks. One day, I forgot to read. Then I didn't drink all the water I needed to. Uh, you know, things like that. I didn't meditate. The diet was the easiest for me because I already eat well,
Mm-hmm.
except for maybe the tortillas and the bread. But
Yeah.
that was the easy part for me. The harder part was the meditating, the drinking the water, and the working out twice a day. Um, but so 75 hard again, 5 things for 75 days. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know. All I knew, I listened to this podcast. I had faith in what this dude said.
Yep.
It sounded great, and I went for it. Man, I'm outside. It sounded like somebody just crashed over there. I
Oh,
heard a big
really?
crash. Yeah. Sorry. Excuse me. Um, so, again, once I committed to it, I failed the first 2 weeks. I missed a couple of days, but I just, once I missed it, it felt easier because I told myself, shit, all I got to do is that one thing that I missed and my day is complete. So what I started doing is I started writing down. I wrote down my 5 things every single day, and I crossed them off. Boom, boom, boom.
Nice.
And then I put a W next to them for win. Man,
Nice.
and I had wins every single day since,
Wow.
man. I'm
That's a good
telling you,
strategy. Yeah, I'm
it
glad
is.
you
You
shared
know
that.
what? And it's a strategy that we've been told many times, right? Write down your goals. Write down what you're gonna do. Look at it every day. And it goes in here and it comes out here, right? But
Yeah.
again, what happens when we implement and what happens when we actually do the things we say we're gonna do?
And it's just
And
five
that's
things. It's not hard, right? Like, but you have to like commit every single day, like repeat it day in and day.
yeah, yeah,
That's the
just
hard
five
part,
things.
right? I've just not missing a day
Yeah,
every
and,
day.
and looking at those things, you think it does seem, man, a gallon of water, that's 120 ounces. Wow. But as you start drinking, it's like, oh man, that's all I got left. So for me, my routine became I wake up at 5 in the morning, you know, first drink, I drink a 20-ounce glass of water right away. It's right next to my bed. Wake up, boom, chug it. That's 20 ounces right there,
Yeah.
right? Then I do my 15-minute priming session. Boom, by 5:30, I'm starting my workout. And what I would do, so it's two 45-minute workouts. I would do about an hour of working out in the morning, and then I would take walks throughout the day, right? So then during my workout, I would drink another 20 ounces. After my workout, I would drink another 20 ounces. So by 7, 8 a.m., I'm already 60 ounces into my 120 ounces for the day, right?
Yeah.
Uh, I've already meditated. I've already, I'm halfway through my water. I've already worked out. So that's 3 things that I'm about to cross off right there. Now, all I need to keep my diet and to read sometime before I go to sleep. And that's the cool thing about this. You have until you go to sleep to complete your day. So if you
Mhm.
haven't worked out and it's 11 p.m., you know what? Go work out, right? And there was a couple of days actually where it was 9 p.m. and I had not worked out,
Oh,
and
man.
boom, I worked out. I had to finish my day, you know. Um, I think the first 2 weeks were easy for me. It was after the first 3 weeks that things began changing. And actually, I began changing. So after the first 2 weeks, my workouts, I was like, man, this is too easy. So I increased my workout. I increased my intensity. I increased the weight on the weights. I increased everything. But then that's where the hard part came, because all of a sudden I woke up every day sore, and I mean sore, right? They tell you, oh, you shouldn't work out every day. You should give your body a day or two to rest, this and that. Well, there is no resting.
Yeah. 75 days in a row working out twice a day. That's tough.
Tough, tough. I mean, tough. I mean, every morning, at first, like I said, I was, yeah, let's go. Woo! After like the first month, man, I would lay in my bed for at least 5 minutes and I would think about it. And then I would get up and I would stumble to put my clothes on, and I stumble to drink my water, and I stumble to begin my workout. But you know what? 15 minutes into the workout, man, it's just like something happens, and you just click, and you start feeling energized, and then for me, once I start sweating, that's like, I love sweat, man. I love it. That's like energy. Once I feel sweat, it's like, all right, it's go time. Let's go. We get even harder. you know? And by the end of the work, I mean, I felt so accomplished. I felt like I just kicked somebody's ass. I felt like, you know what? I was tired. I was beat. I didn't want to do this. And now I feel freaking great. I just killed that workout. Think about the impact that has on the rest of your day. When you can leave your house at 7, 8, 9 in the morning, whenever you leave your house, or when you start working, because some of you might work at home, and you feel like that, you feel pumped and ready to go, which is totally different than before. Before I would get to the office, and I would freaking lag, and I would, pour my coffee, check my email. By the time I actually started working, it was like 9, 10 a.m.
Oh yeah, I've
Now,
been there. I've been there. I know that feeling.
yeah, now
Takes
I
a
get
couple
in, man.
hours to warm up.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And those to me are the most valuable things that I've gotten out of this 75 hard program. Yes, like you said, I've had an amazing transformation physically.
Physically, yeah. We saw the photos on
Physically,
Instagram. Yeah.
I
That's what
look at the,
actually like stood out to me. That's why I contacted you. I was like, whoa, dude, what did you do?
and
75
that's what
days.
stands out. That's what stands out to everyone, right? Because that's what most of us want. But the cool part about the way it happens with 75 hard is that 75 hard is not about physical transformation. It's not about getting ripped. It's not about getting lean. It's really about getting this muscle ripped, getting this muscle lean, working out this muscle, and making this muscle bigger and better. And I actually feel faster too, you know? And there's a saying, oh man, money is not a goal. It's just what happens after you put in the work, something along those lines, right? So money is not the goal. It's just what we get from all the hard work.
It's like a
Well,
scorecard of like what value provided to society is kind of another way I've heard it. Something like
kind of,
that.
yeah, something like that. I forget the saying. I messed
Something
up the
like that.
saying, right? But
Yeah.
that's how I feel about the physical transformation. The six pack wasn't the goal, but it's the benefits of all the work I put into my mind. right? Because I mean, like I said, going back to how tough it is. I mean, there's days where, you know, my buddy calls me, hey man, we're having a taquista. Come by, free tacos, man. All day we're gonna be eating tacos, man. What do you do then? Oh, most people are like, ah, man, you know what? For example, somebody told me I really want to start, man, but my mom is here and she's cooking for me, and you know how it is. I don't want to make her feel bad, or this, I have a birthday party next week. I'll start after the. Well, guess what? After that birthday party, there's gonna be another birthday party, and then your auntie's gonna come, or you're gonna go to your auntie's house, and you're gonna have to. There's always gonna be excuses, right?
Oh yeah,
So
always a
my
reason.
buddy invites me to a barbecue. What do? I come through with lettuce wraps, right? Because it's hard to come into your buddy's party and just say, "Nah, I'm okay, I'm cool." No, you're gonna get tired of saying no. So you have to be proactively finding a replacement for then you're gonna say no to. So if I want to go hang out with my buddies, but I don't want to eat tortilla, I'm gonna come through with my lettuce wraps. Yes, it feels funny. Yes, I look kind of weird, and everybody's gonna laugh and chuckle and say something. But so what?
It's part of the
You
process.
know? Once
Yeah.
they see, and the cool thing is, once they see that you're fully committed, they're gonna respect that. That's another thing I've really learned is that no matter what, whenever you try to change something, your friends are always gonna, not because they're mean, not because they don't love you, but they're always gonna say something because that's your friends. You always joke around with, and they're gonna give you a hard time. That's what friends do,
Yeah.
But but it's up to you to stick to it because one of the things that I'm doing this also is to hopefully inspire others. So how can I inspire others if I'm always giving up? Though that's how people will start saying, "Oh, well, see him. He went to Tony Robbins. He's still the same. He was gonna do that diet, and he's still the same, right?" But when you commit and you decide and you do it, pretty soon, what I learned is that now, for example, my mom was in the same household as I am. At first, I felt bad telling her no when the food that she made, and she felt bad that she didn't know what to make. But now, guess what? Now she's eating better. Now she's exercising. Now she's reading.
And she's
How
changed her
did that happen?
cooking. Wow. Yeah.
She's changed her cooking, right? And now she's into her own fitness. I didn't say anything about her getting into it. My actions
Led by
inspired her,
example. Yeah.
right? Same with a couple of other friends. They're not doing 75 hard, but now they're actually working out every day or every other day. Now they're reading. Now they're listening to some podcasts that interest them. Because when you listen to things or when you read things, it doesn't have to be personal development or finance. Read whatever is gonna make you better at something you want to improve,
Yeah. Anything
right?
that interests you.
So yes, one thing, and actually I thought about it earlier. One thing, another big thing that helped me through this, and I got this from, I believe it was from the marshmallow test, is if-then statements, right? Whenever we try to take something away, we must always replace it with something. Because if we just say, you know what, I'm not going to eat sweets, and that's it, it's going to be really hard because you're going to crave sweets, and you're going to want to eat them. So what I said is, if I crave a chocolate, then I'll eat an apple.
Yeah. You got to fill the void.
If I crave ice cream, then I'll eat a mango, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Have
now fruit,
alternatives.
yeah, fruits still have a lot of sugar, right? But that sugar, in my opinion, is better than a processed sugar from a chocolate or from a muffin or from an ice cream, right?
Absolutely. There's also vitamins and other health beneficial things in the fruit. Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. Of course. I mean, they say five fruits a day or 5 vegetables a day, right? And it helped me with that. And before 75 hard, I wasn't eating that much fruit. The reason was because I ate so much sugar that I said I have to cut down some sugar, so I cut down fruit. Now it's the reverse. Now I'm not eating sweets, but I'm eating a ton of fruit. I feel great, man. I mean, I'm eating all my favorite fruits: mangoes, peaches, nectarines, apples, Granny Smith apples. Kiwis. Kiwis are really good. I eat them in my salads, and that's another thing I learned, man. I learned to experiment because I've gone pretty much not vegetarian, but my protein, my red meat intake or my animal meat has gone way down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I've experimented when eating salads. I put, you know, some quinoa in my salad or some beans in the salad or some fruit, you know, more than just salad and, you know, lettuce and dressing.
Yeah, you
So
can actually make salads good. Uh, Shoot. I mean, you can even add a little meat too. But yeah, you can. There's a lot you can do with this salad. If you experiment.
yeah, and again, you know, another thing that helped me is I read up on nutrition as well. So in order to do this, not only did I just decide to do this challenge, but I armed myself. You know, I read Grit, I read the Marshmallow Test, I read Dr. Gundry's Revolutionary Diet, I read other diet articles to give me an idea of how I could support myself through this thing, as opposed to just kind of, all right, I'm doing it, and then there's really no plan, right? No way to replenish what it is that you're giving up.
That's so important. Yeah, you had alternatives to what you craved. Every alternative you had, like what can I do different? That is huge. That's like if you don't have an alternative, you're gonna fail probably. You're gonna have a huge void. It's like but the fact that you set yourself up for success, you're like, when I crave this, I'm gonna do this. I have three options, alternative options, and
Yes.
to that craving I have already like probably written down or in your mind or wherever whatever however you did it. But that's awesome. So there's this 75-day what is it called? 75-day hard.
75 hard, 75 hard.
And it's by
Um,
the what is it? The C
it's
Mother effing
it's
CEO.
by Andy Frisella,
Uh-huh.
who has the MFCEO podcast.
MFCEO podcast. All right, I'll add a link to that. And this is exactly what I was hoping for. Ernesto was like getting firsthand on what you went through, kind of what strategies you used, because I listened to the podcast and I was like, wow, that is a tough, program, especially the working out twice a day part really stood out to me. And yeah, the diet part could be really hard for a lot of people as well. I think I'm pretty good at that. I'm good at water. I'm good at reading, but there's probably going to be something challenging for every person in that program that's going to be really hard. And you really think the mind part was even more powerful than the physiology change?
Oh, oh, 100%, man. 100%. Look, there's times where those negative thoughts still go through my mind. There's no doubt. I think that's gonna be forever. But now it's like 30, 90 seconds and I find something better, right? I mean, I have so many things to feel good about right now. I feel good about my mind, my mindset. I feel good about my body. I feel good about the way I'm eating. I feel good about the impact I'm having on others. You know, I'm in the process of becoming more abundant in all
Yeah.
areas of my life. I'm in the process of having the financial life that I'm working towards. You know, that's another thing that I read. I'm reading right now a book, The Law of Attraction, right? And there's one of the great things I got from this book is obviously the law of attraction is not the secret. Is not just think about it and it'll come. Again, you actually have to work to attract things. So one of the things is that it talks about is, you know, sometimes we do affirmations, right? And we say, I am this, I am that, I'm rich, I have money. But oftentimes those affirmations are not really true. And when affirmations aren't true for you, they don't work because deep down inside, you don't believe them. So how do you battle that? Well, instead of saying, I am financially free, even though you're broke, you say, I am in the process of becoming financially free.
Ah, okay.
That is a true statement, right? I am
Yeah.
financially free is not true. I will never believe that because I'm not. But I am in the process of becoming financially free. That's a true statement. That's something that I can 110% believe and get behind. And that's when you start attracting things. I'm in the process of finding the perfect relationship partner. I'm in the process of getting a six pack. That again has helped me a lot.
So in the
I'm in the process of,
process, yeah.
yeah, I'm in the process of becoming 100% mentally healthy.
I feel like that takes the stress off, reduces the stress, and allows you to start taking small actions. Because I think, yeah, if you have this huge grand vision, you're like, I am financially free, and you're like, wait a minute, there's a huge gap, and then you're just like, how do I get there? And I've been in that situation where I want to be financially free, but I'm like, I have a huge gap, and I'm like stressed, and I almost feel like just giving up. But if I'm in the process, if I increase my savings by $1,000 this month, that's one step closer. I could take those small steps and feel good about myself as long as I'm moving towards it, even a little bit. I like that a lot.
Yeah. And that leads to the next thing that completely helped me out, and that's visualization. You know, so every night and every morning before I go to bed and when I wake up, I take some time to visualize myself. You know, visualize me clicking enter on that last payment of my debt,
Hmm.
visualizing me driving around the neighborhood looking at houses that I'm gonna buy, visualizing myself looking at that car that I'm gonna get, visualizing myself sending my mother on a vacation, paying for my niece's tuition, you know, and when I'm working out as well, as I'm curling, man, I'm visualizing that muscle grow. I'm visualizing that chest grow. I'm visualizing that six pack coming out and bulging, right? When I'm running, I'm visualizing, you know, especially when you run, you get skinny, right? So when I run, I actually visualize muscles, you know, and one thing that I say when I'm running, I have a saying now, and it goes, burning fat, building muscle, burning fat, building muscle, burning fat, building muscle. And that's what I
Wow.
say, man. And honestly, I have to be really honest with everybody. That's when I began to be a little bit ripped and lean because for the first month and a half, I was skinny. You know, I went from 160 to 142 in
Whoa.
within a month, and I was skinny, right? And I said, I
Yeah.
don't want to be skinny. I don't want to be skinny. I want to have some muscle. So that's when I began doing a little bit more weight, and that's when I began thinking more about the result. You know, and that's again, many times we start something, but deep down inside, we don't think we can finish it. We don't think we're going to get that result we're looking for. And the law of attraction says that if you don't believe it, you're not going to conceive it. You know, and I think
Yeah.
that's what helped me get my body the way it looks right now
Yeah.
is that visualization. You know, there was a study done, and I can't remember the book. I'll send it to you later. But there was a study done where they went to a hotel and they studied the housekeepers, the ladies that come in to do the cleaning,
Yep.
and they because what they realized is that those ladies are doing a lot of the movements are the same movements that you would do when you're working out. So they told the
Oh.
ladies, as you're cleaning, so they had two groups. They had one group was the regular group, and they had the second group. They said the second group, visualize that you're exercising, visualize your muscles growing, visualize that instead of cleaning, you're working out. And to the other group, they said, you just continue doing what you're doing, keep cleaning. When the research was done, the group that they told to visualize themselves cleaning and exercising and working out while they were cleaning, they actually began to have a little, you know, obviously they didn't get ripped, but they
Yeah.
were in better shape and they began to show signs of exercises.
Wow. That's
It's
really
all because
cool.
of yeah, it is. So visualization, I mean, again, I visualize myself finishing 75 hard. And I also visualize myself what would happen if I didn't keep that diet. What would happen if I didn't, do the weights.
That's important. Yeah, you did both. You said, here's the Ernesto who completed, here's the one that didn't complete it. That's probably a scary thought if you didn't complete it.
It's if we're honest with ourselves, and again, that's key. You have to be honest with yourself because most of the time we are not honest with ourselves. We're honest with everybody else, but not ourselves usually. So if you're honest with yourselves, yes, You know, you have to be honest. For example, when I ask myself that question of, what am I really feeling? You know, I have to be honest. Well, what am I really feeling? Because if I'm not honest with myself, I'm gonna keep feeling depressed. But if I am, then I'm gonna realize that it's not depression I'm feeling. I'm just feeling bummed. Sorry, there's an airplane out there. I'm feeling bummed. I'm feeling down. I'm feeling sad. So again, it goes back to honesty. You have to be honest with everything you do, right? So if I'm honest with myself, if I continue to eat the way I'm eating, burritos every day, I might have a heart attack when I'm 50. I might be diabetic because diabetes runs in my family. You know, I might not be here for my niece's 18th birthday, 21st birthday. I mean, that's powerful, man. When you really feel it,
Mm-hmm.
when you really feel that, it's powerful. But you know what's also super powerful? When you visualize yourself doing the things you want to do and succeeding the way you want to succeed and really feeling it and really really getting into it though, not just, oh yeah, you know, I want to be rich. No, like really like, I want to be rich, man. I want to be driving this and I'm going to be feeding these people, helping those people, you know, like really, you know, really. So,
So you visualize both. If I don't
yes.
do this, this is where I'm going to end up. If I do this, this is where I'm going to end up. And obviously, you're like, I want to do this. It's a much better picture,
Which one do you want? You know,
much better future.
yeah. You know, they say that humans, our brain is geared to do two things, right? To go towards pleasure or away from pain, fight or flight, right? And it's easier for our brain to flee, right? To
Mm-hmm.
avoid pain. It doesn't want pain. That's why it's easier for us to go towards the pleasure. That's why it's so easy to grab that donut, so easy to grab that chocolate, so easy to not work out, right? But I've noticed that now, as I'm training my brain to love working out, to love eating healthy, to love drinking this, to love reading, my brain and my body actually ask for these things now.
Oh, that's
It,
huge. Oh man, I just had like a light bulb go off. Like you actually train yourself
like,
to love the workout, like all these things.
it's
That's it.
pleasurable.
You look
It's
forward to your
pleasurable. Like my
workouts. The
Yes,
salads.
yes, my body is asking for it. My body is asking for that oxygen to go up, for to burn that calorie, for, you know, to spike my insulin, whatever it is that happens in my body when I'm working. My body is asking for it. You know, this week I've taken the whole week off. I've only worked out once this week. I don't like it. I don't like it. I can't wait for tomorrow when I start phase 2 of the program. Phase 1, excuse me,
So
of the
you're
program.
okay. You're in a recovery. You're in a recovery from
You
the.
know, some people go finish 75 hard and go right into phase 1.
Yeah.
I've heard other people, they wait a couple of weeks. For me, I want to wait 1 week, which is today is the last day, because I want to go into phase 1. My goal, actually, I'm gonna run a 30K up Mount Hamilton on November 2nd. So that's 18 miles up a big, huge
Uphill.
mountain. Well, probably the biggest mountain we have here in the Bay Area.
Yeah, it gets snow sometimes in the winter.
Yeah, so you know that's my goal. I'm thinking of training for a triathlon. You know, and those are the things that I've never even freaking thought of before. You know, last week I went on a 10-mile run. Now I've done 10-mile runs in my life many, many times. Last week was the best 10-mile run I've ever done because I finished my 10-mile run and I felt like I could have done 3 more, no problem. You know,
Wow.
um, so So yes, I'm going into phase 2 tomorrow. So I decided to take 1 week off. You know, look, I love food, man. I love tacos. I love pizza. I love ice cream. I really do, and I love splurging on that stuff. You know, and I believe even well, here's another thing. Here's another interesting fact I learned from the marshmallow test. If I'm going to speak on this, I have to say this is they also did another study, a group of people who gave in to their impulses and a group who didn't. And then, for example, don't eat this chocolate or whatever the thing was. And then later on, they gave both of the groups a task. I don't know, build this puzzle or something, right? I forget what the task was. They discovered that the group that did the pleasurable things, they finished the task, every single one of them. And the group that held on, that was holding on to their impulses, that didn't give in, a lot of them actually were tired. Some of them didn't finish the task. So what the result of this study, they said, is that yes, we want to hold, we don't want to give in to our impulses. We don't want to give in to our, gratification, but you also want to have something that gives you some type of freedom, whether it's a cheat meal here, a cheat meal there, because, not giving in is mentally draining. You use up energy when you say no to things. And the more you say no, that's why sometimes you get tired of it, and then you've been doing great for 50 days, and then you say, fuck this. And then you completely go off the wagon, and you eat and you binge and you drink all of that. So in order to avoid that, you gotta have one vice, right? You
Mm-hmm.
gotta have one vice. So this whole week has been my vice.
Oh,
This whole
okay.
week I've been eating tacos, I've been eating pizza, and I can't wait to go back to my now I'm calling it my regular way of eating.
That's awesome, because I feel like once you do becomes your regular, like the salads, the running, all that stuff. Once it's a habit, right? It shouldn't be work anymore, right? It just is your routine, and you crave it now. So then it
Yeah,
should be, after a while, it shouldn't be that much work because you just want it, because it is your lifestyle. I think the hard part is just the change itself. Would you say that? Just like wherever you're at, making a change is hard, but once once you get in a habit, you crave it, right? So it probably isn't hard
yeah,
to do those things anymore as much.
yeah. Well, what do they say? They say about 90% of our moves, I think it is, 90% of our habits are automatic. I mean, we don't think about brushing our teeth. We don't think about we don't think about when we open a door, we don't think about, I have to put my hand on the knob, and then I have to turn it right or left, and then I have to push or pull. No, that just happens, right? And when we try to change those things, when we try to train ourselves to do that, yeah, it feels weird. It feels like we shouldn't. It feels like we're not being ourselves. And what do you mean I'm not being myself? No, no, but you're becoming a new self. Yeah, change is painful. Change is tough. It's hard, and then you get around people, and then they start, oh man, I miss it. I miss you. What do you mean? I'm right here. Yeah, but before we would sit down, we would have some drinks, and we eat some tacos, and I mean we can still do that. It's just not right now because I'm on this program. So that's when it gets hard. That's when change is hard. When you start missing the things that you used to love or the way you used to be.
Yep.
But I
Yep.
say I
Happy hour.
can't.
Sorry, can't make it.
Yeah, yeah, but I've trained myself to, okay, yeah, I don't miss that. You can't miss what you don't know, or you can't miss what you don't see sometimes. So, I mean, I've through this process, I've been training and programming myself to not miss those things, and to want to get up and work out. And I mean, I'm telling you now, I wake up and I'm like, all right, let's do this. Even if
Yeah.
I'm sore, because I know that once I start, I'm not going to feel sore. And once I finish, I'm going to feel great.
I look at it like taking a shower. I don't think I like enjoy the whole process of going and taking a shower, but then I always feel good every time I do it. So it's a habit. At the
Yeah.
end, I'm like, I feel clean. I feel better. But it's still like an action you got to do. Brushing your teeth, same thing, right? Like, I don't feel like brushing my teeth, but I just do it because my mouth feels great after. My breath is
Yeah.
good. You feel
So I
better
read
afterward.
this
Go ahead.
when you said that. I heard this podcast. This guy named Jim Quick. He's all about brain function, And he
Yeah.
recommends that every week you do something different. So a couple of weeks ago, he said, this week, brush your teeth with your left hand. And it's, I mean, by the end of in the beginning of the week, it was terrible. But by the end of the week, I got better. You know, and again, it's all about doing new things so that your brain and your body always feels challenged. You know, because your body doesn't want to. You know, everything I've read, it tells me that your brain does not want to work. It wants to do the least amount of work possible. It wants to get the most amount of food possible so that your genes can survive. You know, we all think that our body is here for us, but that's not true, man. Like, again, from everything I've read, it tells me that our genes are only here and our genes only want to reproduce and survive so that they can keep on living. You know, that's why we go for the easiest source of food, fast food, junk food. That's why we don't want to work out, because that's work. You know, that's why we don't want to diet. That's why we don't want to change, because change means work. And so that's a whole nother topic again that I've read into, and it just makes sense, you know. And right now I feel like I have control of my body. I have control of my mind, and it's something that I've never ever felt.
Wow. Wow, that's this has been an amazing conversation. Uh, got more than I could have imagined out of this, and there's a ton here. I do appreciate you coming on the show here, Pat the Epic. We'll share those links. I've got you know, Grit TED Talk, Tony Robbins priming, marshmallow test, you know, the concept of self-integrity. And then there's that podcast, the 75-day hard, all that information. We'll share that out. Any last words for the folks listening?
Man, like I said, right now I'm all about the self-integrity, man, self-love. You have to love yourself. You have to have integrity with yourself, because, you know, here's one thing that, you know, I went to Vegas during this thing, and there's no alcohol, right? How can you be in Vegas with no alcohol? But the thought that went through my mind while I was there is, what type of a man am I if I can't even keep my word to myself of not drinking, even if I'm here? And I apply that to a lot of things. You know, what type of a man am I going to be for my future wife if I can't even keep my word to myself? If I can't even, you know, you know, delay my gratification, is she going to trust me when I travel for work? I don't want my wife to not trust me because I can't, you know, I can't keep it in my pants, right? So that's the one thing. What kind of a person am I going to be if I can't keep? You know, I'm not only letting myself down, but I'm actually, by me not having self-love and self-integrity and doing things that I do for myself, I'm also not doing what I need to do for others. Because just because you do something for others, in my opinion now, doesn't mean you truly 100% love them, because you're doing it for them but not for you. No, you have to, it has to be, it always starts with you, even if it feels selfish. I feel selfish sometimes when I have to say, no, I can't eat that, or I'm not going to do that, or no, or I have to work out before I do this. I feel selfish, but you know what? I know that I'm going to be better later for everyone involved. So self-love, self-integrity, man, do things for you, do things out of love and with love, you know, and things are just going to start falling into place. And even sometimes the failures is something that's supposed to happen, right? I hate failing. I don't want to fail. I don't ever want to fail. But if you do fail, it's not a bad thing, right? And if you have this self-love, the self-integrity, and the things in place, you're going to be able to work through those things.
I love that. Yeah. Love thyself, be integrity with thyself, and then you'll probably be more likely in integrity with others if you start with
With
yourself.
others. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because look, it's easy for me to say, oh, I'm doing the 70 hard program. And when I talk to people or when I post on social media, oh, I'm doing it. And then I'm home and I'm eating chocolate. I mean, who am I really being bad to here? I mean, me, right? Because not only am I not doing what I said, but I'm also lying to everybody else out there. I don't have any integrity at all,
That can't feel good.
right? No, so it's what happens in your home, what happens behind closed doors that really matters. You know, they say champions are made in the gym, not in the ring or on the basketball court or on the football field. You know, mindsets are made in at home, in your home, in behind closed doors, right? Who you are here is who you are out there.
Yeah, because all that preparation you did when you go out into the world, we're like you said, we're like mostly on autopilot anyway. So if you train your body and mind to operate a certain way, you're more likely to operate that way out in the world, in the field with others. If you're in integrity with
Yes.
yourself, you're more likely to be in integrity with others.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, and in the beginning, everything feels hard. You know, if you've been an asshole all your life and now you're trying to be kind and compassionate and have empathy, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna feel weird. And I say that because I was an asshole for most of my life, and now I'm trying to be compassionate and have empathy and you know, and it's hard. Sometimes my first reaction is to want to be an asshole and you know, or say something that's not so empathetic or compassionate. It's very hard. But the more I do it, the more I try it, the easier it gets. And now, whenever I start to be the old person, I just completely tell them that's not who I want to be. That's not who I am anymore. You know, and that's what helps me.
Well, it's been amazing. I'm like tired just from like all the information. You just threw a ton of stuff at me, man. Whew. There's so much there to unpack.
There is a lot.
I'm gonna try to like review this and like sit down with my notepad and because there's just a lot here. Man, we could just go for hours, huh?
We could. You know, we barely even touched on small part of 75 Hard. I mean, obviously, if people want to know more about it, I recommend them listening to the 75 Hard podcast, which I'm sure you're gonna link to it because you know the way. First of all, Andy Frisella is not for everybody. You know, the show is called MFCEO, the motherfucking CEO. So if you don't like to hear F words and F bombs, and you don't like to hear somebody with a high pitch, fast, and really in your face type of style, he might not be for you. But then again, that's exactly what I needed. I needed a kick in the ass. So if
Yeah.
you're interested in 75 Hard, listen to the podcast. You know, I'm sure Nick is going to put my info on there, my social media. Find me, ask me questions, man. I love to answer questions. Since I mentioned social media, you can find me at Hey Mr. EJ, HEYMREJ on Instagram, Ernesto Javier on Facebook, Mr. EJ TV on YouTube, and those are the ones that I use the most.
All
And
right.
Mr.
And
EJ tweets on Twitter.
yeah, you're pretty active on there. If you're listening, folks, don't be afraid. Reach out to this guy. He Ernesto will he'll get back to you. He's active. And he's
Yeah, you know, right now, please reach out to me. Right now, I'm on this thing where I want to help people answer questions. You know, I don't want to be anybody's coach. I'm not gonna, you know, I really don't. Although I think I can be, and there might be a time where I will be. Right now, I don't want to be anybody's coach. But if you need somebody in your corner, if you need someone to help you with accountability, give you ideas, answer questions, I'm here for you. I will do the things a coach can do for you without charging you. Because there's another thing that I see a lot of these people out there saying, oh, I want to help people and I'm a coach for this and I want to help people improve. And then they're charging you $500 an hour. I think it's bullshit. I've gone through a lot of the trainings that a lot of these coaches have gone through, and I'm not going to charge you a penny. Obviously, if you need a detailed program, that's something different. That's something that needs to be charged for. But if you just want some answers, need some support, you know, have somebody to help you walk with you a little bit, just hit me up. I'm here.
awesome. Well, Ernesto, you were in integrity. We agreed to this a week ago. You showed up and you're here. I appreciate
Hey,
you.
you know, this was for you and me as well. Again, because if I wasn't here for you, I'm failing you, and then I'm failing myself because I didn't do what I said I was gonna do. And it's hard. It's hard, man. It's 8 in the morning. We should be still in bed or something. But no, you know, we're about to go kill the day. I'm sure you got some stuff, some awesome stuff working on that you're about to do.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. Lots to do today. I'm going into work actually right after this. So put in some OT.
Yeah, same here. I got an event for my job, so it's not as hard as labor, but it still works. So I appreciate it, Nick. I'm glad you're doing this, man. I'm so happy that you're moving forward with your show. I know we've spoken about this for a long time, and it's super inspiring to see you doing your thing, man. I'm super happy for you. I'm super happy that I'm associated to you, because who doesn't like to be associated with high performing individuals like yourself, man?
Well, you are one of my inspirations. You helped me when I was struggling early on, getting on the Anchor platform. So I couldn't done it without you. You are one of my inspirations, man. So
I appreciate that. And by the way, I am a little more active on Anchor. So I did a 5-minute episode on self integrity, which I feel is pretty good. So check it out. Growth and Wisdom podcast. So growth, the letter N, wisdom, spelled out on Anchor, Spotify as well.
sweet. So we can follow you there. Awesome. All right, let's own the
Yes,
day.
sir.
Thanks, Ernesto.
Nick, you take care, man. Much love to you and your people.
All righty. Cheers, mate.
Peace.